So hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining, for being here. Mm, I ask you to stay muted during the class, and so it's only my screen that is recorded. Yours is not recorded, and I love to see faces. So leave your camera switched on. I'm super happy about it. So welcome to the Peri-Menopause masterclass. I'm Karina. Some of you already know me. But then I saw many people signing up that I haven't met before. So nice to meet you. And I'm a gut and hormone coach. I'm based in Barcelona. I'm originally from Germany. And I'm very passionate about helping women reclaim their energy, balance their hormones, and feel empowered in their health. So I have my background as a Chinese medicine practitioner and as an Ayurvedic practitioner. And I love to join Western medicine with Eastern medicine. I love to explain things from an Eastern medicine, from a Western medicine point of view. But the treatment and the healing is done with Eastern medicine. So I find the combination really amazing. Especially we can also look at blood test results, and we can look at them from a holistic perspective. So over the years, I have really discovered that perimenopause is not just a phase. No, it's a very powerful biological and emotional evolution. And yet it's often the most misunderstood and overlooked chapter of a woman's life. And it's very often that women say, oh my God, my hormones are crazy, or I feel so weird, or what's going on with me? I can't understand my body anymore. And so today we will dive into a transformative topic that shapes nearly every aspect of your daily life. Now, your changing hormones, your stress response, and how they influence your energy, your sleep, your mood, your weight, your sense of self. So what we will cover today is why perimenopause is more than just aging and what's really happening inside your body. We will also speak about the hidden connections between your hormones, your brain, and stress, and how they shape your sleep and your weight and your mood and your cycles. And I will share some things that you can do. How you can balance your hormones through nourishment, movement, herbs, nervous system care. And we will talk about why a personalized self-care is so important. No, because you find 10,000 tips and advices out there, but they need to be they really need to be personalized so that they fit your unique needs, because every single woman is different, has different challenges, different life circumstances, and all of that needs to be taken into consideration. So this masterclass today is really for every woman who feels like her body is changing faster than she can keep up, and who might even feel exhausted by energy crashes, by mood swings, by restless sleep, by unpredictable periods, or the feeling that she has kind of lost her spark. No? So too often this transition is really dismissed with a wave of the hand. No, it's just stress, or it's just aging. But what if I told you if it's more sacred than that? It's really is this is a hormonal, it's an emotional, and even spiritual rite of passage, and it's really a recalibration of your entire being, because it really shows you what's working in your life and what's not working in your life and what needs to be changed. So when you understand the why beneath your symptoms, you step into partnership with your body instead of fighting her. So before we get started, drop your location in the chat. I love knowing where everyone is joining from. And also, if you don't mind, drop your age. You can either send it in the general chat, or if you don't want to share that information, please let me know privately. So your age, where you are located, and also what you hope to get out of today's class. So we have 50 people or 55 people signed up. I know a couple of them will watch the recording. It's possible that we have some more joining the live session. So let me know a little bit about you. I would love to hear that. From Berlin, 41 years old, Barcelona, 51 years old, Ibiza, 42, Barcelona, 43, Miravet, 52, Berlin, 52. Then, hoping to get tips to help this period. Catalonia, 48 years old. 49 years, will turn 50 in November. Okay, amazing. And yeah, some of you can still let me know what you hope to get out of today's class. So my own story is, so I'm now 42. So my perimenopausal years have started. And of course, I work with Eastern medicine. I've been working with it for a long, long time. And so, of course, I knew what to expect, the changes, but still, no, there were changes that I thought, oh my God, now I react differently when I eat carbohydrates than I used to, no, or that you start putting more easily weight on, and this was not the case before, or that you just feel like you need to have a different exercise routine. So when I was younger, I had like in my teenage years, also beginning of my 20s, until my mid 20s, I had really huge problems with my period. I was dealing with very severe PMS. I was suffering from insomnia. I felt very exhausted. I had on a regular basis energy crashes. Could really be my energy at lunchtime was good, and then in the afternoon it really crashed. And I had also very severe digestive issues. And at that moment, I didn't understand how everything is connected. And this is why I specialize in gut and hormones, because when you start healing your gut, then it has a huge influence on your hormones automatically. It will influence your energy, it will influence your sleep, it will influence your mood, your ability to concentrate, to memorize things, to focus sharply. And of course, I studied all of that. So, but it took me time to understand how all of that is connected. And yeah, I was really amazed when I saw how everything shifted. Now I had energy again. I slept like a baby again. I had a smooth menstrual cycle. I could finally make plans without considering my cycle, which was not the case before. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this today with you. So why you should stay until the end is I will be sharing a special opportunity today with you. So I'm giving away a free like a free coaching session, including a follow-up session to those who post their biggest takeaway from today's session on their Instagram story and they tag me. So I will share a presentation with you. You simply take a photo of one of the presentation slides, you share your biggest takeaway, and then you enter the lottery. At the very end, I will also share one free course that I offer you. And I will share something else, some freebies with you. Yeah, so one thing I want every woman to understand is that your hormones do not work alone. They are really a symphony. And this is the first thing. I will share my screen with you now. Share. Here we are. So you're seeing my screen now. And one of the first things, and I will just shortly mention it here, I have a YouTube channel and I also have a podcast. So on my YouTube channel, you will find a masterclass on the gut hormone connection where I dive deeply into that. Yeah, I share all my accounts at the very end. So at this, like now, just concentrate on the class, put your mobile phone on the side so that you are not distracted. This will also give you the opportunity to ask questions if you want to know something, if you don't understand something. So just drop your questions in the chat. I will either answer them during the class or at the very end. I will also switch off the recording and we will have a more intimate space so that you get your questions answered. So one thing that I really want you to understand is that your hormones, they are like a symphony. Yeah, so your stress, your blood sugar, your digestion, everything is connected. And so you see here the hormone hierarchy. So at the very base, you see the insulin regulation, followed by adrenal hormones, followed by thyroid hormones, and by sex hormones. So at the very base of your hormonal pyramid is a blood sugar balance. So when your blood sugar is stable, your energy, mood, your hunger stay balanced. Yeah, you don't have any cravings, you don't have energy crashes, you don't have severe mood swings. And this steadiness sets the stage for all other hormones that you see. to work properly. So when your blood sugar, for example, is thrown off by chronic stress, by processed foods, by skipping meals. Yeah, we can also talk shortly about intermittent fasting. I will give my opinion about it and what is healthy and what is not healthy. Now, because when you skip meals, when you're stressed, your body releases cortisol to raise blood sugar. And this was useful when we run from predators, but today chronic stress means your blood sugar stays high too often, and this leads to insulin resistance. So your cells stop responding well to insulin, then your sugar stays in your blood, and then it leads to weight gain, it leads to cravings, fatigue, and even and more hormone chaos. So skipping breakfast, living on coffee, and then crashing by 3 p.m. is a classic sign that your foundation is cracked. So then the next level are the adrenal hormones, and the next level is really your stress hormones. So mainly cortisol. Cortisol helps you to wake up in the morning. It's super important to have it, to handle challenges and to adapt. But too much for too long, and that's very often the case nowadays with women, and then it suppresses your digestion, your immunity, your thyroid, your sex hormones. And so things that throw it off is chronic deadlines, over-exercising, HIIT workouts. For example, I see this very often. Poor sleep, that women that sleep just 5-6 hours per night, and a stressed gut. So high cortisol damages your gut lining. It leads to bloating, it leads to food sensitivities, and it leads to poor nutritional absorption. So a stressed gut can also send stress signals back to the brain, and then it's raising cortisol even more. So stress management isn't a nice to have. No, it's really hormone medicine. So everything like breath work and gentle walks and rest and pleasure reset your adrenals. Then we have the thyroid. This is your metabolism regulator. So if you want to keep your weight or put on weight, or you can't lose weight, then we always need to check the thyroid. And your thyroid controls how well you convert food to energy, to stay warm, to keep digestion moving. And what throws it off is chronic stress blocks conversion of T4 thyroid hormone to active T3 hormone. And poor gut health blocks nutrient absorption, for example, iodine or zinc and selenium, and then your thyroid is not working properly. So if you have a leaky or inflamed gut, you won't absorb what your thyroid needs. And if you're stressed, you won't convert thyroid hormones properly. And the result then is that you have a sluggish metabolism, or your metabolism is too quick. Your sluggish metabolism is more underactive thyroid, or when your metabolism is too quick, then you have an overactive thyroid. But when your thyroid is sluggish, then you can also gain weight. You suffer from constipation. You have cold hands and feet chronically. You have low libido. You will have problems to conceive. So at the very top, you see your sex hormones. So the ones we blame for everything, for the mood swings and for the PMS and for the perimenopause. And many women, they come to see me because either my thyroid is off or my sex hormones are off. Like I have period pain, or I have irregular cycles, or I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, or I have endometriosis. And so you need to understand it's at the top of the hormone hierarchy. And then when they take supplements, for example, supplements to improve their progesterone levels, or supplements to reduce their dominant estrogen, then they will have maybe small improvements, but they won't experience healing. And they will also, the improvements, they will have their limits, because you really need to work your way up. So I work with women also always. We start with gut health, and we always start with stress regulation. So we look closely on the at their daily rhythm, on their diet, meal times, fasting times, because once that is regulated, many things that affect your thyroid and that affect your sex hormones will just disappear. So just keep that in mind. that your gut and your liver, they clear out excess estrogen. So if they are sluggish, estrogen can build up, and then it can lead to heavy periods, to bloating, to PMS. Yeah, stress drains progesterone to make cortisol. So low progesterone means anxiety, insomnia, irregular cycles, yeah, also painful cycles. So we need to support your gut. We need to manage your stress. We need to balance your blood sugar. Yeah, this is what truly balances your sex hormones, and not a supplement that you take for your progesterone or for your estrogen. Or now we also have testosterone in little quantity. That's very important for our muscles. It's very important for our libido. Yeah, so this is how holistic hormone healing is in action. Okay, so just keep that in mind, because this is very important. If you want to learn more about it, watch my gut hormone connection masterclass on YouTube. And perimenopause is not just early menopause. No, it is the prelude, the bridge between your reproductive years and your wise years. So for some, it begins in the early 30s. For others, it begins later. So what I see nowadays, that I see more and more women that have already perimenopausal symptoms, and they're still quite young. And this is related to nervous system dysregulation, to the wrong diet, and to too much stress. Yeah, so the shifts often go unnoticed until the symptoms become louder. Yeah, so you may still bleed every month, but yet your ovaries, your brain, your adrenals are already rewriting the hormone script beneath the surface. So the transition is a transition phase before menopause. It can last something between 4 and 15 years. It begins as early as early 30s. It ends 12 months after your last period. Then you are officially in menopause, yeah, but not any earlier. And I already had women not getting period cycles anymore for a couple of months. We got the period cycle back, and they could even go for IVF and get pregnant. Yeah, so all of that is with Eastern medicine. We can really work on that. So let's go through the main things that happen during perimenopause. So one of the things of the hormone shifts that you will experience is that your progesterone drops. And here's what's remarkable, because progesterone is made only after a successful ovulation and the rupture of the follicle that becomes the corpus luteum, your monthly hormone factory. So, but as we age, we will have cycles when we don't ovulate anymore, yeah, where the egg matures but isn't released. And that can become more common. But I have seen many different scenarios. So sometimes women get their period, and then boom, it stops. Then sometimes it gets more irregular, and then sometimes they have every other month a period. But all of these things, don't think that you cannot change them. So very often when like depending on your age, depending on the whole health history, of course, we need to look at everything. But very often we can bring back a regular period cycle. And we want to have our period cycle as long as possible. Yeah, because it's just beautiful to have estrogen and progesterone, like good progesterone, estrogen levels. It also will slow down your aging. No, and so the goal is really to have it in place in a healthy balance as long as possible. So progesterone is like like a lullaby for your brain. So it's calming GABA. GABA is a neurotransmitter, and it's easing sleep, it's softening anxiety. And when it's missing, your nervous system runs unbuffered. Yeah, so estrogen unbalanced by progesterone runs wild. Yeah, then often women say, "Oh my God, I have estrogen dominance." But very often then when we look at the blood test results, the estrogen is not too high. It just doesn't have the right ratio to progesterone. So in holistic medicine, when I look at the blood test results, and also my members in my group course, they learn it, what is the right ratio that you need to have between estrogen and progesterone. Yeah? And then we speak about a relative estrogen dominance. So Then when progesterone and estrogen are imbalanced, then you can have symptoms like severe PMS, heavy periods, severe pains. Then you can have mid-cycle mood swings. You can start spotting after ovulation, or you start spotting a couple of days before your period sets in. Yeah, this all indicates there is progesterone and estrogen are off. So then let's look at estrogen. So estrogen is not a straight line down. It's really a roller coaster. So in perimenopause, the brain ramps up FSH, your follicle stimulating hormone, to nudge sluggish ovaries to respond. So sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes they overshoot. So this can mean estrogen soars sky high 1 month, leading to sore breasts and heavy bleeds and migraines. And then it drops the next. And then it triggers hot flashes and insomnia and dry skin. So without steady progesterone to anchor it, even normal estrogen can feel excessive. So this is why you might feel like you are riding hormonal waves with no surfboard. Yeah. If you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. And either it fits well in, then I will answer them now, or I will answer them at the end. Let me just see. I will answer at the end. Good. Okay. Yeah, so then let's look at cortisol. So I like to say, when you are in constant fight and flight mode, so this means chronic stress in your life, this can look like running from one appointment to the next and to overload your schedule, but this can also mean that you have emotional stress, unprocessed emotions, difficult life situations that really set you under stress. And your body will always prioritize surviving. So this means if your stress levels are high, your sex hormones or your reproductive hormones, sometimes they shut down or sometimes they just work less. Yeah? So when the ovaries slow down, the adrenals step up in theory. Yeah, so because the ovaries, they provide, they also produce estrogen. But then when we age, they slow down. And then usually the adrenals step up and they will take over some production. However, if a woman is stressed chronically, underslept, underfed, overgiving, your adrenals are already pouring out cortisol. And in this state, survival trumps reproduction. So cortisol suppresses your thyroid, it messes with your blood sugar, it disrupts sleep, and it promotes belly fat storage. Like a protective energy reserve. So managing stress isn't a luxury. It's really like, it's a hormonal intervention. Yeah. So every deep breath, every boundary you set, every hour of rest is hormone therapy for your 30s, for your 40s and beyond. Yeah. So then let's look at insulin. And so why blood sugar becomes sensitive. So I mentioned this in the beginning. I could feel at one moment, like I can still eat carbs, but my body asked for less carbs than it used to be. And also I was someone, I liked to eat basmati rice and my body went very well with it. And I can still have it nowadays, but not as often as I used to have. So estrogen keeps your cells responsive to insulin, and the hormone that escorts sugar into your cells for energy. So when estrogen dips, cells become insulin resistant. Glucose lingers in your bloodstream, insulin levels rise to force it in, and then fat storage increases and cravings spike. This is why dieting harder, and I see this many women do, it backfires. Yeah, so blood sugar balance must come first. Yeah, so when you anchor your meals with protein, healthy fats, and fiber, you stabilize the hormonal roller coaster at its foundation. And I really want to mention it here shortly because many women do intermittent fasting. And then they very often skip the breakfast. That's one of the worst things that a woman can do for her gut and hormone balance. Yeah, so you really want to have your breakfast. You can skip your dinner. That's not so bad. But also depending on your digestive type, depending on your unique body mind type, you might need 2 meals per day. You might need three meals per day. It really depends also. So then also let's look at why brain signals change. No? So your brain is really a loyal commander. So it keeps sending ovulation signals via FSH and LH, but the ovaries don't always answer. So the feedback loop gets glitchy. No? So periods become unpredictable, cycles overlap or skip. So estrogen also modulates serotonin, yeah, and dopamine. So your mood, your motivation, and memory neurotransmitters. And this is then why you might feel foggy and forgetful and emotionally raw. So you are not unraveling, but you are rewiring. And with the right nourishment, this new circle, this new can feel steadier. No? Let me just see what the question is. Okay, I would like to understand why skipping breakfast is bad. I always eat when I'm hungry, but I'm not always hungry. Yes. So usually when you are not hungry in the morning, there can be many, many different reasons. Yeah, we would need to find that out. But this can be, for example, you go too late to bed, you have your dinner too late, or you maybe have your dinner as a main meal. Maybe when a woman doesn't sleep properly, she wakes up in the morning and doesn't feel hungry. So usually women should feel hungry in the morning. What I said, like there are many reasons why that might be not the case, and there's can have different causes. So in the morning, when you wake up, your cortisol rises and you have also leptin. Yeah, so we have ghrelin and leptin, so your hunger and your satiation hormone. And in the morning, when you have a breakfast that fits your digestive type and also your hormonal profile, yeah, some need more protein, some need a good amount of proteins and fats, some need carbohydrates more in the morning. This really depends and might vary from person to person. So if you skip your breakfast, then you already can throw off your insulin, yeah, from the very morning onwards. And it can also have then an influence, of course, on your concentration, on your focus. Yeah. So breakfast is super, super important. So in Eastern medicine, we say, for example, and at the very end, I will share a freebie with you that walks you through, let's say, the foundations of a healthy digestive and system and metabolism. And one of the foundations is like that you understand that in the morning when you wake up, and this is something that is also when you look it up from a Western medicine point of view, with your digestive enzymes. So in the morning when you wake up, your digestive fire wakes up as well. Yeah, so the sun rises, your digestive fire wakes up as well. So in the morning, you want to ignite your fire so that it burns steady throughout the day. And also from a Western medicine point of view, the digestive enzymes are already active in the morning. However, after 6 p.m. in the evening, your digestive fire gets really, like, slows really down. Yeah, so many have their main meal for dinner, and then, like here in Spain, even a late dinner. That's really difficult for hormone balance, for restorative sleep, for slow aging, for steady energy levels. You know? Hormone replacement therapy. Oh my God, this is a huge topic. If we have time, let's talk about it at the very end. For some women, it's good. For some women, it's not the right thing to do. It really depends. But maybe let's see if we have time in the end. Okay. Then let's look further. So then, of course, what many women experience is that they get sleep problems. Yeah, so sleep is one of the pillars of health. So, but usually when I start working with women on their diet, on their gut, on stress management, then very often also the sleep starts regulating. Yeah, so I also have a masterclass on my YouTube channel about sleep. You can check that out, where I explain in detail how the circadian rhythm and also your gut influences your sleep. Yeah. So falling asleep is very often low progesterone. Staying asleep can have to, if you have problems to stay asleep, it can have issues with your cortisol, especially when you hang around in front of your social media or any screens in the evening. Your cortisol will still be high when you go to bed. It will decline the melatonin, your sleep-inducing hormone release. And then you will wake up in the middle of the night. Your brain is super active, and you will have issues to go back to sleep. Yeah, then night sweats, they can have something to do with imbalanced estrogen. No, but this is just in short to give you a little bit an overview. And as we see, yeah, you remember the hormone hierarchy. No, and here you see progesterone, estrogen, cortisol. So very often when we really work at the foundation, the sleep problems, they dissolve and the woman sleeps through the night properly. Yeah, and also it depends. Like I get often asked the question, how many hours per sleep do I need? So in holistic medicine, we look at your really it's your gut, mind, body type. And this tells me a lot about, like, for example, do you have huge issues with your nervous system? Then you will need more hours of sleep. Maybe you will need 9 hours of sleep. Sometimes I have women that just need 7 hours of sleep. Yeah, and some need 8 hours. But this is from woman to woman. It differs. And once, let's say, we have gone through the test, we have done a deep dive session, then it clears and we know what you need. And also sometimes this changes. For example, if you suffer from an autoimmune condition, from severe sleeping disorders. So when we need kind of to rewire your nervous system, then in the beginning you might need more sleep. Yeah, so I have, for example, one client in my online program. She was suffering from a severe burnout when she got into the program. So in the beginning, she was sleeping 10 hours. No, and then now she just sleeps 8 hours because she has recovered her energy. But also women with autoimmune conditions, they need to sleep in the beginning often more hours. Yeah, and then with time, when everything gets back into balance, they need less sleep. So as you see, Eastern medicine, if you ask me, how is that? I would say it differs. That can be quite frustrating, but it just shows like there is not one size fits all approach. Yeah, and this is also why Eastern medicine, especially Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, they're so successful. Because they look at everything in your life, your relationships, what are you doing professionally? Do you sit a lot? Do you move a lot? What's the climate condition in your country? And what's the season you are in? So all of these things will be taken into consideration. Yeah? And when you get your, let's say, treatment plan, and when we look at your daily habits. So when we look at sleep, low progesterone means less GABA. GABA, it's your neurotransmitter. And so you lie awake wired, and high cortisol wakes you at 2 a.m. Fluctuating estrogen triggers night sweats. And so you need to support sleep with magnesium, with herbal teas. There are many different magnesiums on the market. I just work with 2 brands, and also just with special types of magnesium. I tried many different ones until I found really the one that works best with my clients, where I have the best results and the quickest results. And also you need to have very clean products. Yeah, you don't want to have any binders and any ingredients in there. And you really, like, for consistent sleep, you need to have a very rhythmic life. Yeah, so rhythm is key. When it comes to sleep, when it comes to gut health, when it comes to hormonal balance. So when progesterone dips, so does your calm. Yeah. So when estrogen swings, so does your serotonin. So now it's really the time not to anchor your nervous system, not to do breath work, and maybe to take some adaptogens, to join communities, to be surrounded by other women that support you, to have emotional resilience is really hormonal resilience. And let's see what we have next. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about, so when your weight changes, it's really not about trying harder. No, it's really like hormonal shifts mean insulin resistance, lower thyroid, cortisol driven fat storage. And for example, I always also ask the women, where do they store the fat? If it's in the belly, this is cortisol. If you have these wonderful love handles, it's more the insulin. If it's more around upper back and around your shoulders, it's more the thyroid. If it's estrogen, then your boobs might get bigger. You might put on weight around your thighs, around your butt. And this already tells me also a lot where to start. Yeah. So where you store fat tells me a lot about your hormones as well. And it's really not about restriction and punishment. It's just your body is changing. And so you need also to adapt, to align your daily life and your diet to these changes. So as we know, everything is impermanent in this life. So change is the only constant that we have. And so it doesn't mean that your body is not working anymore. It just means, you need to adapt. So what you need to, I also have a wonderful podcast episode about protein, where I explain protein, like the best animal-based proteins, the best plant-based proteins. I will share my podcast with you. You get a follow-up email tomorrow and you will get all the links. And then you can just scroll through and you can just see a little bit what you need. But protein, because your body, this is something, especially women that have often a plant-based diet, they have too little proteins in their diet, way too little. And you also need healthy fats. Then many women, when they put on weight, then they cut down the fats. But hormones are made from fat, and so it really means like your 20-something hustle approach doesn't serve you now. No, you need deeper nourishment, you need softer discipline, you need more flow, you need less force, you need to partner with your body. You need to give her rest and minerals and protein and pleasure. And now you start your day with 20 to 30 grams of protein. Your body, let's say if you just have once per day protein and then you have a big steak, your body cannot absorb usually more protein than 30 to 35 grams per meal. Yeah. So, and in my podcast episode, you can learn about the best proteins. Then also, of course, healthy fats, olive oil and avocado and nuts and linseed oil. And then also cruciferous vegetables for liver detox. Then also you need to limit your sugar intake. Yeah, you need to limit or even avoid alcohol, caffeine. And not out of fear, but out of deep respect for your minerals, for your sleep, for your hormones. Women who drink alcohol on a regular basis, who drink caffeine on a regular basis, who consume sugar on a regular basis, their body depletes minerals and vitamins much quicker. Yeah. So when we look at movement, your body craves movement, but the right kind. And this also, this is like today we have a masterclass so that you all get some insights, but every woman is unique. And so also depending on your body mind type and the challenges that you're currently facing, we will adapt your exercise, your workout routine that you need. And so for example, if you want to do something for your insulin, just go for a walk after each meal, 5 minutes, 2 rounds around the block. Yeah, strength training builds muscles, it builds resilience. Yeah, yoga is amazing to regulate your nervous system. Yeah, not the Ashtanga yoga and also not the power yoga class, but a hatha yoga or a flow yoga or a more feminine induced yoga. Yeah, so too much intense cardio spikes your cortisol, it drains you, and it works against your hormonal healing. So movement should leave you feeling more alive, not depleted. Yeah. So this is also something to keep in mind. You want to feel nourished after your workout routine. Yeah, you don't want to feel depleted. Then, of course, what you need is she popped out, she popped back in. It's really like you need a lot of rhythm, you need a lot of routine in your daily life. Like if you get sick, if you suffer from, let's say, maybe you have just a couple of like slight hormonal imbalances, your gut is a little bit off, or you might even have something more severe like an autoimmune condition. This means that you're out of rhythm. So you need to get back into rhythm. And so you need consistent bedtime, you need adaptogens like maca or ashwagandha, but also this, like it needs to fit your constitution type. So sometimes, for example, ashwagandha is super, super popular. No, everyone takes ashwagandha in capsules or in powder. They add it to their porridge. But if the thyroid is underactive and is already sluggish, and the woman takes ashwagandha, it can slow down the thyroid even more. Yeah, so just these things like sometimes you read, especially on Instagram, you read something about a mineral or about a herb, and it's nice to learn about it, but it needs to fit your constitution type. If it doesn't fit you, it can even harm you. No? So always be critical about what you put into your body. You need to know what it's doing in your body energetically, and also how it influences other things in your body. So you need to know about it. Also, the quantity makes a huge difference when you take it. Yeah, some things you need to take more in the evening, some more after lunch. In holistic medicine, we know when is the liver most active, when is the spleen most active, or when it's the least active. And then we will also say, okay, take this herb or this supplement at this time. Then it will have the biggest effect for you. No. Then also evening screen detox is super, super important thing. Like if you don't believe me, just try it out. No mobile phone after 8 p.m. Yeah, just bring your mobile phone to bed, put it in a drawer, go to the next Chinese store and buy an alarm clock that runs with a battery and put it in your sleeping room. In your sleeping room, no tablet, no mobile phone has anything to do. Yeah, but this really helps your melatonin, your sleep-inducing hormone, to release properly. Yeah, so magnesium, I think, is one of the most important minerals that you need. No, it for the mind, for easeful sleep, for it soothes grams. Then also adaptogens. Now we also have, like I mentioned, ashwagandha, but also rhodiola, tulsi. No, they buffer your stress response. Then when women have especially problems in the second phase of their cycle, I use Vitex. But you also you need to know how to use it, when to use it, when to take it. No, and then we have the omega-3. No, they calm inflammation. The B vitamins, they nourish your nervous system. The vitamin D, that modulates immunity and mood. And never guess. No, everything needs to be personalized. It needs to fit you. Then one of the things, so we talked about that. Sorry, I didn't do that. One of the things that I work with every client on. So like I have a group program that women go through. This is something where they find themselves in sisterhood. Then I have a VIP program where women work one-on-one very closely with me together. And with every single woman, it's necessary that we work on the nervous system. And the nervous system is not like to regulate your nervous system. It's not just important for your hormones and for your gut, but for example, also if you want to earn more money, if you want to attract the right partner into your life, if you want to process certain situations, experiences from the past that you haven't so far, you need to have a regulated nervous system, because you can do journaling, you can do affirmations, all of that is nice, do it, but your nervous system needs to be regulated. If your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it will show up in your sexual life, it will show up in your gut, in your hormones, in your sleep. So nervous system regulation is key, and every single woman has to work on their nervous system. So I give them then exercises, and they do the exercises for every, like, depending on what they have, on the hormones that we work, on the chakra that we work, and on like the time that they have available to do it every single day. No, this can be from 4 minutes to half an hour. No, depending on the needs and the time that the women have. And then they do nervous system regulating exercises every single day. And it's amazing what happens. It's really amazing how things start to release, how they can cry again, how they can feel again, how they can feel joy again in their life just by regulating the nervous system. And as we know, emotions, our gut, our hormones, our brain health, all of that is connected. Yeah, so your brain reads stress before it balances hormones. So your body will not make hormones in a state of perceived threat. No, the faster, busier, and more productive you are, the more your brain needs to hear, needs to learn, like to get out of a state of fight and flight or even freeze mode to a state of rest, digest, and ovulate. No? So sometimes when women have shocking events happening, then boom, they don't have an ovulation, the period is late, or they don't get a period at all. And so you can do breath work, you can do cold plunges, but for some women, cold plunges are beneficial, for others, they are harming. Yeah, you can do guided body scans. You find them on YouTube. You can, like I work a lot also with somatic exercises, then emotional processing, journaling, self-expression. That is nice, but you need to regulate your nervous system. Yeah, and then of course also in my online course, I also have a wonderful class about setting boundaries and saying no, because like as women, we want to care and we want to provide for others. And then very often we don't say no and we don't set the boundaries. And this has a huge influence on our health as well. Yeah. So take a photo of any slide and tag me on Instagram with your biggest takeaway. Then you can win a free coaching session and also a free follow-up session with me. And then I give away 3 30 minutes discovery calls. And during these discovery calls, it's really like you come with one burning question. Like either you are not clear where you want to start, or you want to that we have a look at your nutrition, whatever it is. We have half an hour, and I support you. I give you guidance, and I help you, let's say, to find some clarity in, let's say, some difficulties, some challenges that you experience, but also maybe you don't understand what means, where you need to start. Yeah, and then of course, if you have an interest in working with me, we will have time to explore that as well during the discovery call. However, the discovery call is really there that you can get some of your most burning questions answered if you have some. Yeah. So just scan the code, fill out the questionnaire, drop it, and the first 4 are able to book a call. So then you also have the possibility, wait a moment, this is not the right one. Let me just look it up. I thought I have it here, but that's not the case. I will share my freebie with you. Wait a moment. I put it in the chat, just a moment. There you can just enter your email, then you, wait a moment, freebies here. Okay, good. So in the chat, I dropped a link to my freebie. It's a 7-day free course. So as soon as you enter your email, the first email lands in your inbox. If you don't find it in your inbox, you need to check your spam folder. Okay, then it's there. Let me just see here. And for everyone who's listening to the podcast episode, you find it in the show notes. Yeah. Okay, then that. Okay, let me check something. I get back to you. Okay, who was that? Who couldn't scan the code? I drop it. Reply. You find it here. Oh no, it's not here. Oh, wait a moment. Okay. Okay, so I also, you can copy and paste it up. Done. I also share my Instagram with you. Just a moment. What is that for a mess now? Just a moment. Tag. So where do we have it? We have it here. Yes. Okay. Amazing. So I share my links in the chat as well. So the Instagram, the YouTube channel, and tomorrow you will receive the link to my podcast. Yeah, then you can tune in there as well. So let's look at the questions that you still had. Let me see. So cold splash, or like you can take a cold shower, yeah, that can be beneficial, but also cold plunging. So for example, you plunge into cold water or even in a container with ice and you stay there for some time. It's not beneficial for every single woman. It's beneficial for some women, for some it's harming. Yeah, it depends really on your constitution type. Then low carb diet. Is it good for women in perimenopause? Oh, you'll find a wonderful post on my Instagram that you can read through where I talk about it. I published it a couple of weeks ago where I talk about keto diet. And it's important, like depending on your constitution type, you will need certain carbs are good for you, certain won't be so good for you. And sometimes it also depends in which phase of your menstrual cycle you are. For example, when you are in your luteal phase and you have a zero carb diet or a low carb diet, it can lead to many cravings. It can also lead to energy crashes. It can lead to more progesterone problems. Then, for example, in your follicular phase, for some women, it's beneficial when they have a low carb diet, but it really depends from woman to woman. But read that post. I give you there are some insights, but if you booked a discovery call, we can also talk about it then. I also often exercise in the morning and then eat after. Is that a problem? No, it's not at all a problem. Not at all. So I do the same. I exercise in the morning. So the morning is amazing for exercising. It's amazing. It's one of the best times to exercise because you have this cortisol that is naturally rising. So as I already mentioned, I work with Ayurveda and Chinese medicine. In Ayurveda, we have between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. We have the Kapha dosha predominant. So the energy is stable, it's dense, it's grounded. And when you exercise in the morning, also you regulate your cortisol, you're more stress resistant. And then when you eat afterwards is amazing. Just go for it, of course. So I exercise before I take my breakfast. And then when I had my breakfast, then afterwards I have how's it called? A resistance band. And then for 5 minutes, I do some exercises with my hands, with my feet, with my legs. Because of course, also when you just go for a 5 minutes walk after eating, after breakfast, it helps to regulate also your insulin levels. Exactly. Okay, then. Ozempic, you are interested in the medication Ozempic, is it correct, Anna? I need to publish a podcast episode about that, about the Ayurvedic perspective. So it has a huge effect on your, first I want to mention, I worked in the pharma industry for 5 years in the research and development department. So does it have side effects? Yes, of course it has side effects. And so what it's basically doing, you have a hunger hormone that is called ghrelin. And what Ozempic is doing is just suppressing ghrelin. So you're not hungry anymore. Is this something healthy not to be hungry anymore? No, it's not healthy. So to feel real hunger, to be hungry, is also being hungry for life. Yeah, so hunger is something that is very natural, that is very important, but even many women have got out of touch with real hunger. They eat because they think food is important, but they're not hungry. Yeah, so often I also have to guide women back into feeling real hunger. Okay. Thank you so much, Franziska, for joining. I think you are from Germany when I look at your name. And have a wonderful evening. Bye bye. Yes. So, and Ozempic is suppressing that. So, yes, women that are overweight, many women then they lose weight because they basically don't eat anymore, and the metabolism is sped up. But I can tell you, every single woman that wants to lose weight loses weight in my online course. So it's my online course. The group program goes for 6 months without dieting, without depriving themselves. They can lose in the 6 months easily 5 to 10 kilos, easily, just by knowing what's the best food for my digestive type, what are the best fasting and eating times for my type, what is the best type of exercise that I should do, by having a deep restorative sleep, yeah, so that your cortisol declines, so that your fat isn't stored, no, but it's broken down, so that your metabolism is really working well. Yeah. Are there any other questions left? I stopped the recording here. So for everyone who who tuned into the masterclass, thank you so much. For everyone who's watching the recording, if you have any questions or is listening to the podcast episode, please reach out. Please let me know your questions. Please let me know what you still need. I have a huge amount of resources. So if you just reach out and you say, hey, I need something on that or on this, I'm sure I can provide it for you, either on my blog or on my podcast or on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I stop the recording now, and then you can ask me also some questions. Thank you so much.